Welcome back to Consider This. Today we're talking about devotional lives and is it really important? I think Pastor Dan gave us a good insight into what devotional life is about.
That was very good, actually. It's like a mind opener. Like, you know, how to and where to and stuff like that.
But now I've got a question. I mean, all of us want to know God, and he kind of tickled my brain there for a bit when he said most of the religious experiences, or when you search for God, is out of guilt or fear. But now, what if I'm a young person out there and I feel, well, I don't have the desire to want to know God. There's a quote where it says, "Oh Lord, I do not love thee, and oh Lord, I do not want to love thee. But Lord, I want to love you." You know, to have that desire. Or what do you guys think we can do, or what should I do? Say I'm that person, I really want to know God, or no, I don't want to know God, but I know that I should know God.
Sure.
What can I do?
You'll ask for it,
Okay.
I guess. So exactly what the song is a prayer.
Yeah.
Saying, God, please help me. Because
Give me that desire.
Yeah, give me the desire.
Okay.
And then you're giving him the opportunity to give it to you. Maybe just be still. Even, just try. Read the Bible. Ask him, just say, God, well, be honest. I don't want to, but, please help me to. Yeah.
Maybe creating that, and I think that's what devotion is about, creating that time where you can be alone and let God speak to you.
That's right.
Sometimes we think devotion is a one-way thing. We must read the Bible and we must pray and we must do all these things. Maybe sometimes we just need to be silent and let God speak to us.
That's right.
And maybe just listen.
But it's finding that silence, that solitude that we need to, establish. The fact that we need to be alone, because when you're amongst people every day, every time, you won't find that quiet time for God to actually talk to you. And if you ask God for an answer, I mean, you need to wait for the answer and hear it.
Yeah.
If you're always amongst people and you've already asked, so after you've prayed and asked God for the answer, maybe you need to take some time and try, and then He'll give you the answer.
Definitely.
Like there's also a verse that says that your knock and the door shall be opened unto you, seek and you shall find, which is so awesome, because even if you're in that seeking mode, if God just sees what you're trying, then He will reward you. God's not unfair.
Yeah.
He's reasonable. Like if you really want to find Him, you will find Him.
Yes. So, I mean, God is there, and He wants us to find Him. He wants, and there's a church father, St. Augustine, that wrote that there's a God-shaped void in our hearts. We were created to worship God. We were created to seek for God, and there's a portion in our hearts that only God can fill.
That's right.
But now I'm not looking for God, or I know I should be looking, but I don't have that want. But I should pray for that want, and I should seek for that, right? As Audrey said now. And that's a promise that when you seek, you will find. But now people have sought for God, and they've really tried to find God, but yet they haven't. Do you think that there's a certain way of seeking God and finding God?
I think that you should one of the most important things is to make it's not a tedious job. Do you know? It's not sit down and read the Bible. Make it as fun as possible. Because I discovered that once you make your devotional life fun, you look forward to it. I can't wait to read my devotions today evening. Like, I'm just excited to go home and read it because it's fun.
Now, what do you do to make it fun?
Little things, like write your snippets and keep little heart-shaped tags and stuff like that, or write on top of your file, and then as you go along the day you remember key points or stuff like that, or share it. Every time after you've read what you've read, summarize the point and write an SMS and then send it to someone, Stuff like that makes it
so sharing what you've read can also help you to gain that experience or that thirst to want to know more, to get to know. And I think that's where witnessing comes into the devotional life.
Right.
We are to be witnesses. Now, when you're a witness, you have experienced this yourself. So when you want to be an effective witness, you have to have that devotional time, and you've experienced God and you want to take it to somebody else.
That's right.
So in a way, it's like a river. A river doesn't keep all that he has to himself, he just gives. So all that we receive, we should give out to receive some more.
That's right.
But if we keep it, it will just stay dormant and kind of die in us.
Yeah, same way you can't give what you don't have.
Yes.
So you need to get, then take and give.
Yes.
It's like a three-way thing. pretty interesting.
And that's what devotional life is about.
That's right.
And I mean, through this whole program of Consider This, we've seen that we should know God. When we want to know what we should do, we should know God. In everything, we should always have that relationship with God, and He will lead us in everything. And this is the time that we can do it. This is the time where we can cultivate that relationship through, I mean, our prayers and our Bible study, and even just listening to God.
Yes.
And I kind of like that part where you said you just sing a song.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes we think we can only sing a song with other people. Oh, man, I can't sing. So I'm not even try. But you're there to worship.
Right.
One of my friends was a missionary overseas, and he told me about the story. A girl that was in his mission group, and he said she can't sing at all. Like she can't even keep a note or anything. And what she used to do is she would take a laptop, and then she'd play a worship CD and just pump it full volume, and you'd just sing with the CD, and that would help her to get into that worship mode. And that made me think, yeah, she really wants to get to know God. Yeah. And she knows she can't just, bust a tune there by herself. Yeah. So she puts on a worship CD and gets her into that mode of just worshiping God.
Those are the interesting things I'm talking about when you talk about devotion. Because some people, music attends to them more than, just reading the Bible. Maybe there's a song that speaks to you louder than, and it's been paraphrased and put in straight to the point, does Jesus care, and it's just answers there and there. Yeah. So some people would rather work with music.
Yes.
And I know personally it's quite embarrassing when, everyone's walking around and you're busy singing in your bedroom. But if it applies to you and it works for you, I mean, the better. It's your benefit, right?
Or even, like you said, that creative thing, writing poems. I know people that write poems or write even songs or, just memorize scripture. And I like to memorize scripture because it makes me understand the text. Like you said, the Bible isn't easy. The Bible is hard to read sometimes. And there's portions that you rack your brain trying to figure out, what was this guy saying?
Right.
And it seems to me when you memorize scripture, you have to meditate on it the whole day, and then now I get it. Okay? So devotional life, it doesn't have to be boring, wake up, read, pray, and go on. It should be like a normal relationship you have with somebody else. It's not the same every day. Today you talk about this, tomorrow you talk about something else.
That's right.
It's constantly changing, constantly being something else.
And like I said, also, previously we mentioned that it's like seeking for, you're really digging.
Yes.
And it should be like seeking for lost treasure. Because I know in Proverbs 2 it says as well, like just like you're seeking for rubies and for treasures and for silver, just that way you should be looking for knowledge and for knowledge of God.
Definitely.
Like if you knew there was treasure somewhere in here, you'd go hunting.
Crazy.
Like freak man, like what if it was $1 million rand worth, $1 billion rand? You wouldn't just be, I'll do it tomorrow.
You'd go crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go. Thank you guys for your input, and thank you for watching. What are you seeking today? Are you really seeking for God? And maybe you're there, you don't know who God is. Take some time to just spend time with God. Ask Him to reveal Himself to you. If you have any questions or queries, you can contact us. Our details are on the screen, and consider this.